What's up, guys? We just covered Don versus Lash as well as Don versus Estif, but now it's Keo spawning in on the southeastern side as the Abbasid dynasty. It's Lipany and Don Artie. It's the Don tent that we might not all be asking for, but it's the Don tent that you all need. It's here for you, and it's the English. He's one of, I'd say, one of the better English players. I know some other matchups, specifically in this tournament, had an English mirror, had a pretty good showcase to it. Won't have any spoilers in case y'all haven't checked that one out later on, but you should. And so just starting out with a different English build than you typically see people do. We saw the 2-2-2 build earlier, but Don just opting for the everyone onto the food. Is it just going to be that quicker feudal age, attempting to get some longbows, things of that sort, and maybe pressure out Abbasid, not allow Abbasid to get a second TC, get damage down on those villagers, deny that forward stone, and not only is it a forward stone, it's a triple forward stone. Thank you for the follow, Roko. It's not that, it's a Vill rush. I don't even know. I wasn't paying attention for a sec. I looked away. I said thanks for the follow, and we have the villagers moving forward. It's 5 Vills in unison. That was why Don Artie, he moved immediately over to the opposite side with this scout, and did that get canceled or deleted? I think it got canceled. The Vills just make a mass exodus and are going for a far side gold on the sacred site. The 8k gold on the sacred site. Keo just says, all right, I'm just going to move over to that sacred site. Don says, all right, I'll just take your gold then. You can't do anything. And honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if he went and tried to use some of those short bows on the berries. What a fun start over by Don Artie. Not what we were expecting at all. Villagers, all the vills popping out are just all going to the food for Don. He has enough for a house still. He's going to go ahead and try to get a feudal age, and I wonder if he's going to go for a proxy council hall. Could be a super interesting build. There's obviously still a scout over here for Keo. He can spot out these vills, see everything they're doing. Don Artie has the gold to age up with these villagers. Scout finds the gold vills, finds where Keo's attempting for the gold. The circle by the Abbasid villagers, but aren't going to be able to do too much over time. Second scout's gonna come, and you know it's going to almost be like that early annoyance with the typical gold mine. Scout, harass, scout, micro, back and forth. The short bows did exactly what I mentioned. They went, denied some of those vills on the berries, and are dropping an outpost. What Don doesn't realize, ooh, what a perfect outpost positioning, but what Don doesn't realize, he needs to start chopping a straggler pretty soon to get... What Don does realize, he's practiced this a lot, and he knows he needs to start chopping a straggler soon so he doesn't go idled before he, when he doesn't have enough to drop the next house. Outpost drop, proxy council hall. What a drop. I love this. If you haven't checked this game out, I have another game on my YouTube posted, and it is me playing this against Chewbacca. So y'all can go check that out if it interests you at all. The scout harass has been going back and forth. One Vill is quite low, but looks like the scout does get denied from Don. Council hall being dropped. Keo dropping the economic wing. It's going to take 1 minute and 11 seconds, and we all know that council hall is going to finish up before 1 minute and 11 seconds. Keo's still on straggler trees, hasn't even dropped a lumber camp. Right as I say that, finishes up a lumber camp, but Don's eco is doing the same exact thing. They're both kind of doing this struggle eco, different builds than you typically see with that short bow villager rush, but not only that, it's a proxy council hall followed by it. Initial berry denied, double initial gold denied, and these short bows, after they finish up this council hall, they can go back to gathering up some gold or whatever other resource they like on the side of Keo. 4 Vills, they also were forced to invest in an outpost, and this is really big because this outpost could either have been a military production building as Keo ages up, it could have been, you know, wheelbarrow, which we don't see, but Keo did not get the gold to do so. It could be all these different plethora of things, but or that more wood on the way to the second TC if that was what he was going for. But right now, I don't think that's what you focus on with a proxy council hall in your face. Needs to drop that military building, stables, getting dropped. That could have been much earlier if the outpost wasn't forced from Don Artie with his scouts spotting out the gold mine. So really, really good game by Don Artie so far. Short bow circle around. They spot out the wood line. Don Artie has enough for an outpost. He's got to drop an outpost or a barracks. It's going to take 22 seconds for the horsemen to come out, and that will not be fast enough to deny this outpost from going up. Not even to mention, there are 5 villagers here, 5 villagers building up this tower, fast building it. Only one of the villagers is at half health. Villagers are able to jump inside, do a little bit of return damage. Should be a scout going down, I believe. 5 health. It's all calculated. Keo knows. He says it's calculated. Beep, boop. Quick math. He knew exactly how much damage he was going to take from that. He says, hey, scouts regen health. I knew that. I'm not losing Vills. But more denial on that wood line and a good little positioning for Don Artie. You can't forget either. He is English. So when his longbows, not short bows, when his longbows are under this outpost, the short bows have it as well. But more specifically, the longbows get this network of castles bonus. Proxy barracks dropped as well. Only 1 military is out for Keo so far. He will almost have enough to drop another. And even though the horsemen are running towards the base for Don Artie, there's not really going to be that much they can pressure. This is also the base of the English. It's very, very, more defensive than other bases. Doesn't actually run all the way towards there, just massing up at a different side. Longbows moving up and take a little bit of extra damage from that town center fire from the 12 Vills that jump on inside. 1 spearman out in the mix, 3 horsemen. More spearmen's coming to play and no more longbows. This is all Don Artie is really looking to invest in, I think, is just a couple longbows and then a couple of the spears, and he wants to make Abbasid over-invest, I believe. Don's moving on over to the stone. You might say, hey, it's for upgrades on these towers, for arrow slits and things of the sort. Maybe, or maybe it's for a second town center. Only time will tell, but does get denied. 5 Vills, 8 Vills actually move out and start building up that nice farming eco. Much more delayed than typical from the English, but still there nonetheless, and is able to transition to it much easier because of that cheaper farms. Spears move up, as well as a couple of those longbows to snipe down those horsemen. And not only that, the horsemen led the spears directly to the other side wood line. And the spear number and the archer longbow number is healthier than the side of Keo. Keo is gonna be able to have reinforcements coming in, but are the reinforcements gonna be enough if his units get sniped out too fast? Longbow numbers are still healthy. Horsemen trying to kite around, might be trying to kill some of those longbows. Ooh, couple more horsemen coming to play. The spears are not healthy. That was what Don Artie needed to react to. That was what Don Artie was worried about. So he is committing a little bit more to this than I expected. But the longbows have a straight shot to that. Oh, the longbows have a straight shot to that. And that was how Don Artie saw the second movement, was that initial outpost by his council hall. Late reaction by Keo. No Vills have gone down yet, but more and more idle time, more and more annoyance coming down, and just a mass expedition. Look at how many lumber camps have had to be dropped. Ram finally being dropped by Keo, but will this Ram be able to defend up if Don Artie has a good enough army here? It's only 5 horsemen, it's only a couple archers, whereas Don Artie, he can mass up more and more of these spearmen and has a decent bit of longbows here to snipe down everything else on the opposite side. Full set of farms, able to sustain everything that Don Artie is doing because he also is taking deer with those proxy villagers as well. Denying a secondary food source. Longbows move up. might finally, oh, they actually deny the ram from finishing, and not only that, spears are ready to deny up the horseman. And again, with Don Artie's vision with these outposts, he can see that ram being built. He knows exactly when to push up. He knows exactly when to react. Keo getting denied with 23 villagers idled. You might not think like this is much, but think about how many seconds this is right now. This is just an absurd amount of resources that Keo is losing from this pressure from Don Artie. Not a ton of villagers have gone down, like I've said. It's 33 to 35, actually. Keo is up 2. However, Don Artie just keeps idling. He keeps massing up these reinforcements. Finally looks to take a villager down, and the even bigger, more efficient thing is he is starting to get a bigger longbow number. And once this longbow number starts to get healthier, it can snipe down these horsemen pretty fine. Spearman numbers, good micro by Don, able to keep to get on top of some of these horsemen. The whole entire time, these longbows have just focused on the archers on the opposite side. Once the archers are down, it does not allow his spearmen to get sniped down. One spearman was alive left in the mix, but all of the archers on the opposite side got sniped down, and 10 longbows are still alive. So Keo is starting to struggle in that regards because the longbow numbers, the more and more they get, the harder this becomes. The horseman numbers are still alive and healthy, but the spears are cheaper. They're able to be remassed back up, and there's already a couple into the mix. 7 horsemen are diving right where the spearmen are massing up, and there's 4 of them already ready in there and waiting. Don again is able to see all of these villagers, able to see the battering ram, and knows exactly where he can pressure and what he wants to do. All he has to do is circle these longbows right back around and just snipe down a couple archers. And then again, max exodus. 24 of these villagers are going to run right back over for another wood line. Although, I wouldn't hate for Keo to just try to start expanding north at this point, since Don already has claimed the south side of the map with all of these proxy bases. No upgrades coming through from Don, was denied off of the stone that he moved out to. Typically with the proxy villagers, you see a lot of times people will take stone, but did not opt for it. Longbows push up, 1 Vill down, 2 Vills down, 3 Vills down, 4 Vills down. So finally some good picks from Don Artie as far as villagers go. Has just been idle time, has just been denial till then. Good little attempted brace from the spears, but all they needed to do was push the horsemen back, and this allows the longbows to fire down. Look at how many extra shots they got because of the network of castles bonus, as well as their extra range. Outpost trying to be rushed down from Keo on these berries, on these front berries. He's about to start running out of the food. He's going to have no food sources. Remember, berries got denied. Longbows moving up yet again, shooting down more of these villagers. More vills going down, and longbows still have not all gotten sniped down. Spearmen need to pull back and help out these longbows because the horsemen are beelining towards them. Spearmen arrive, able to get a good snipe on one of the horsemen. Longbows again still taking down the archer number, and the archer number is not getting masked up at all. Spearmen turning around, and at this point Don Artie says, all right, I'm just going to full focus all of your horsemen, and this will allow Don Artie to full transition into archers if he desires, as well as men-at-arms. He can start utilizing this extra gold for men-at-arms and start getting rams in the mix, as well as military upgrades. Drop a blacksmith and go for ending the game, or go up to Castle Age. But what does he do? He goes for some more villagers. It's 43 and 23. Keo's down to 35 and down to 13 military. Keo is starting to get some of the blacksmith upgrades. Artie has ranged armor and is now finishing up steeled arrow, getting wheelbarrow for Don Artie though. It's funny, Don Artie has a base at home, as well as all of this proxy base. Council Hall being taken down, that will be no more archer production from Don Artie. But at this point, does it really matter with the mass he has? Keo's trying to long distance mine some stone for some upgrades on his outposts. Don just kind of moving back and forth with his mass that he has right now, and looks to be wanting to go up to Castle Age, dropping yet another set of farms in the front. There's only 1 horseman and scout, so while you might think this is scary, it's really not, especially against an English town center. A couple of those vills can jump inside. Return fire will be more than enough. Longbows circle back around, aren't able to find any damage on the outpost yet again. Don Artie Going up to Castle Age. Pulls the Goldvilles off. King's Palace being dropped. He's already at a villager lead. There's no TC, a second TC out of Abbasid whatsoever. And Don Artie's about to be dropping his own second TC. That one horseman, that one scout, just how I mentioned, nothing too much to worry about. Don Artie pulls back the original 5 bills that he short bow rushed with. He says, you have done your job, take your marathon home, and you can rest. Not really. Go ahead and build this shit. Go ahead and mine some more shit. Do more work, but thank you for your work still. King's Palace finishing up here in the next couple seconds. The longbows and spears tried to spot out that gold, but the Vills pulled back ahead of time due to the outpost vision from Keo, and Keo is reclaiming his base. He's feeling okay until he just hears that new age begin. He knows now he's an age behind, but not only that, it's going to be a King's Palace, so he knows he's a TC behind. He doesn't have that second TC. He's starting to gather that stone, but once he drops that second TC, he's also going to be the age behind. So he's starting to try to gather up that food, starting to try to transition back to the gold and get up to Castle Age, as well as getting a second TC down to match the villager count numbers. The big problem though is Don Artie is already up in Vill count. Archer numbers, 16 archers try to move forward. Don Artie has the archers already, and he has a knight coming out, and the knight will just be able to chase down these archers. The longbow's able to continue to thin out more and more of these as well. The knight just needs to chase these down. Horsemen and rams still preoccupied, but the bigger problem now is there's going to be knights barreling down for the economy of Keo, and Keo does not have a ton of production down. Trying to build a barracks as fast as he can, and then we'll try to get spearmen out, but those spearmen will still be Dark Age spearmen. There will not be any upgrades coming out, and knights will easily be able to take down any of those. Longbows moving up, spearmen moving up, and Keo is in a bad situation here. Knights move away, longbows still firing down, still doing a little bit of kiting. No network of castles bonus for Don Artie, so not quite exactly the fight he'd want to take, but still a fight that is beneficial for him. He is going to take this any day. He is taking down more on the opposite side than he is losing. Double barracks drop, spearmen are coming out, but again, these are Dark Age spearmen. Still will need to get a hardened upgrade out. Still will want to get phalanx, and still will want to get veteran upgrade as well after that. Second TC drop for Keo in the Northern Berries. Yeah, it was a short bow rush to Council Hall, Proxy Council Hall, if anyone's just checking in now. It has finally been cleared up by Keo, but Don Artie, he has the mass, he's up forward, and he has the villager count because he delayed that second TC by Keo for so long. It's 60 and 25 for Don, it's 48 and 22 for Keo, so Keo's trying to even out those numbers, but the military quality is not there for Keo. He doesn't have the knights in the mix, he doesn't even have the upgrades on his spearmen yet. He is very, very far behind. Those spearmen do the same amount of damage as these villagers down here. Actually, less damage if they have the villager bug with 6 extra damage. So Dark Age spearmen are basically going to be worthless against Don Artie's army, especially when you consider longbows can snipe them down from so far away. Don Artie massing up more and more of these knights with the double stable production. Villagers trying to move back into this arrow-slitted outpost, but the arrow-slitted outpost will now start getting burnt down. Archers trying to move up. Longbows will have the same exact idea, potentially start sniping down some of that opposite side, and Don Artie takes the fight. Again, he has the military preference. He has the stronger military here. Even though there's an arrow-slitted outpost, even though there might be some counter units there for his knights, all of the Dark Age spearmen are just getting wiped. Keo has still not gotten the upgrade to veteran yet. He finally got the hardened spearmen at least, but they are still too weak. Don Artie just laughs at what Keo is sending at him right now. This early Vill rush just has done too much to delay Abbasid from booming up. Keo finally reaches Castle Age, but is it too late? Outpost moving forward, and this isn't like one of these outpost rushes. This is now turned into just giving him the network of castles bonus, giving him vision, and denying more and more resources. Don's on top of production, starting to burn down the archer ranges, starting to burn down more production. Mangonel, built by Keo, still has those spearmen, but no major upgrades have come out yet, and the Mangonel might just be the difference, but it's firing down upon the spearmen, upon the knights. It needs to take down the longbows. Huge shot right on the longbow mask. Don still hasn't reacted yet. Don, stop building. Please stop building. Oh, and for some reason the Mangonel fired over on the right side near his archery range instead of the longbows. Knights chasing down on top of the Mangonel. They have a reckless abandon. They do not care about the spears in front of their face. The longbows will deal with the spears. Second Mangonel gets canceled. Knights diving. It's only archers out as well as spearmen. The longbows are on top of the barracks, so every single time spearmen pop out, they will immediately get sniped down by the longbows. Don's moving up. More proxy stables. 29 idle villagers for Don, though, but is absolutely crushing the whole entire base. Knights are jumping inside of a ram for Keo, the villagers are jumping inside of a ram for Keo, and Knights are burning it down. The 11 villagers were trying to stay alive as long as they can. They'll jump inside, and only 4 will have room inside of the outpost they're next to. Those will all be going down. The surround coming in, and Keo, he throws in the towel. The Vill rush, the proxy council hall. It's too much to deal with for Keo. What a game. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for showing out. Click the sub, the thumbs up, comment, and go ahead and check out the next Don Artie versus Keo game we're about to cover now.